Sri Sai Ram. We come to the last part of this chapter called integration. We began with indefinite integrals, and then in last few sessions we have discussed about definite integrals, and toward the end of yesterday's class we studied about properties of definite integrals. When we learn the properties, we will be able to use the properties, and when we use the properties, the problems become very simple to solve. Just have a look at the formulae or the properties which we discussed yesterday. The first one, a to b fx dx is equal to a to b ft dt or fu du. Basically, it means that by changing the variable, the value of the definite integral does not change. That's what it is. Okay? If you wish, you can even prove it. It's very simple. Now let us say fx dx is a function. When we integrate it, let us say we got capital Fx. And the limits are from a to b. Similarly, ft dt, if you integrate, you are going to get ft and a to b. And substitute the limits. So this is equal to fb minus fa. Similarly, this also is fb minus fa. Both are same. So what it actually means is, if instead of x, if you use u or y or v or any other variable, the value of the definite integral does not change. That is the first property. Second property, a to b fx dx is equal to minus of b to a fx dx. What it means, if you interchange the limits, instead of a to b, if you make it b to a, it gets multiplied by one negative sign, nothing more. And suppose, if both the limits are same, lower limit is also a, upper limit is also a, means what? The area is 0. Third, a to b fx dx is equal to a to c fx dx plus c to b fx dx. What it means, if there is an interval from 1 to 5, you can divide it into two parts, 1 to 2, 2 to 5, or 1 to 3, 3 to 5, or 1 to 4, 4 to 1. Any way you can divide it, taking any value in between the interval. This particular property becomes very useful if the given function is an absolute value function. We will come across some problems in the exercise. Next one, a to b fx dx is equal to a to b f of a plus b minus x dx. Very simple one again. How to prove it? We know this value a to b fx dx by using fundamental theorem of integral calculus. What is the value? We are discussing P3 right now. So left hand side is what? Left hand side is, let us say its integral is fx and the limits are a to b. So according to fundamental theorem, we know that it is nothing but fb minus fa. This is left hand side of third one. Okay. Now look at the right hand side. How do you solve it? What we do is we assume that a plus b minus x equal to t. We assume a plus b minus x equal to t. What happens in the process? We get minus dx equal to dt. Not only that, the limits, just observe. So this becomes, right hand side will become f of a plus b minus x. Remember, one negative sign will come. So the limits are same, a to b. So when you substitute that limit here, you get f of a plus b minus b minus f of a plus b minus a. Simplify it. B and b will get cancelled and you have fa minus fb. So if you open it, you get same thing, that is fb minus fa. This is the explanation for this particular property. What did we do? We assumed a plus b minus x as t, so minus dx became dt, and we simplified it. We do not know what is the function. Whatever be the function, it is going to be that way. Come to the next property, which is close to this third property. What is the property? Instead of a to b, if it is 0 to a, then what will happen? 0 to a f of a minus x dx. Same thing. Again, you will assume a minus x is t, minus dx will be equal to dt, so one negative sign will come, and then when you substitute the limits, you get the same answer. Remember, this property is very, very useful property while doing problems. Good number of problems in the exercise are based upon this particular property. Yes. Let us move to the next set of formulae. Very interesting ones. P5 is 0 to 2a fx dx. What do you mean by 0 to 2a? 2 times of a, that's all basically. So it is equal to, it can be divided into two parts. What are the parts? 0 to a fx dx and then 0 to a 2a minus x dx. Once again, the proof is very simple. The same method you follow, 0 to a 2a fx dx will be what? Capital Fx. As a result, you will get 2a minus x. Here what you are going to get? You will get fa minus f0. Here what you are going to get when you take 2a minus x equal to t, you are going to get one negative sign. And when you simplify, it will be same. Very rarely we use this property. Okay. Next one. Next two properties are very, very useful. What are the properties? 0 to 2a fx dx is equal to 2 times 0 to a fx dx. When f of 2a minus x is equal to fx. Means in place of x, if you write 2a minus x, if it still remains fx, then it becomes 2 times. Suppose if it becomes minus fx, then it becomes 0. Lastly, minus a to a fx dx. Similar to that, this also becomes 2 times 0 to a fx dx if f of minus x equal to f of x. What do you mean by that? If the function is even. When do you say a function is even? When we replace x with minus x, function remains same. For example, x square. X square is same as minus x whole square. Cos theta. Cos of minus theta is cos theta. So cos function is called even function. Sin function is called odd function. Why? Because sin of minus theta is minus sin theta. So if you replace x with minus x, if the function remains same, we call it even function. And if it is even function, minus a to a fx dx can be written as 2 times 0 to a fx dx. And we will write it as 0 if the function is odd. So let us use these properties in solving the problems. Yes. These are the problems which we have to do. We will be doing this today. So let us start with the first problem and focus upon how the properties can be used. Okay, because by using properties, the problem becomes very, very simple. So the first one, for example, here, what is the function? fx is cos square x. fx is what? Cos square x. We can use this property. What is that property which we can use? The property which we have learned, f of integral of 0 to a fx dx is equal to 0 to a f of a minus x dx. We have in fact proved it also. 0 to a fx dx equal to 0 to a f of a minus x dx. Use that. Fx is this, okay? So what is f of a minus x? Here what is it? It is cos pi by 2 minus x whole square. What is cos 90 minus theta? Cos 90 minus theta is sin theta. So it becomes sin square x. So what he has given, we can call it I. And what is it? It is 0 to pi by 2 cos square x dx. When we use that particular property, this can also be written as 0 to pi by 2 sin square x dx. One very important thing which you have to keep in mind while doing integrals or definite integrals, whatever be the function, take it as I. And that becomes very useful, particularly here. Now what we are going to do is, this is the given function. This is what, according to the property, we will add these two and we will say 2I is equal to integral of 0 to pi by 2 cos square x plus sin square x dx. And you know the simple identity, sin square theta plus cos square theta is 1. So this whole thing will become 1. What will be left is just dx. And what is integral of dx is x. So this whole thing becomes 1 and the integral becomes x and the limits are 0 to pi by 2. So substitute the limit. Remember, this is 2I. This whole thing is 2I. Our objective is to know what is I. So take 2 other side. So this will become pi by 4. How pi by 4? Because pi by 2 minus 0 and this 2 will make it pi by 4. That is the answer. So we have made use of this property. We converted cos square theta into sin square theta. Added both of them, vanished and became very simple. Let us move to the next. Yes, let us take up this problem. This is also based upon the same property. How? Just observe. This can be written as, what is the property we are going to use? We are going to use the property 0 to a fx dx is equal to 0 to a f of a minus x dx. This is the property. So whatever he has given, we call it I. I is equal to 0 to pi by 2 sin to the power 3 by 2 x dx upon sin to the power 3 by 2 x plus cos to the power 3 by 2 x dx. This is the given integral. I just copied because I is not written there, so I wrote. Now use that property. When you use that property, this will become 0 to pi by 2 sin pi by 2 minus x cube upon sin pi by 2 minus x cube plus cos pi by 2 minus x dx. What is sin 90 minus theta? Cos theta. What is cos 90 minus theta? Sin theta. So this I can be written as 0 to pi by 2. This will become cos cube x upon cos cube x plus sin cube x. Remember, this is also I. Add this I with this. So what you will get? You will get 2I equal to integral of 0 to pi by 2. Add this with this. What do you get? Sin to the power 3 by 2x, cos to the power, small mistake. Forgot to write 3 by 2, 3 by 2. Yes. So when you club this, you can find that the denominators are anyway same. Numerator also will become same. Both will cancel each other. Numerator also sine 3 by 2x plus cos 3 by 2x. Denominator is also same. Both will cancel each other. What is left is just dx. And what is integral of dx is x. So I can be written as, this is x, limits are 0 to pi by 2. And remember, this is 2i, so this will be 1 by 2. So now when we substitute pi by 2, this will become pi by 4. This is the answer. Same property which we used in first problem, we also used in the third problem. Okay. So let us move from here. Yes. This is the one which I was referring to. I was mentioning to you that when there are absolute value function, breaking the interval into two parts becomes very, very helpful. How? For example, we have minus 5 to 5 modulus of x plus 2 dx. So what is the function? The function is modulus of x plus 2. This is the function. And go back to absolute value function. And what does it says? It is equal to x plus 2 when x plus 2 is greater than or equal to 0. In other words, greater than or equal to minus 2. Whereas the same thing will be minus of x plus 2 if it is less than minus 2. The function changes because it is absolute value function. The value of the function is x plus 2 if x is greater than or equal to minus 2. If it is less than minus 2, see the limits minus 5 to 5. So it can be divided into two parts. One is minus 5 to minus 2 and then minus 2 to 5. Okay. So this I can be written as, first limit is minus 5 to minus 2. In this interval, what happens when it is less than minus 2? It is minus x plus 2. And then plus minus 2 to 5 x plus 2. Why? Because when it is greater than minus 2, the function is x plus 2. This is the only step which you need to be careful about. Rest all is very simple. There is no difficulty at all. Integrate this. How do you integrate? For x it is x square by 2 and for 2 it is 2x. And what are the limits? Minus 5 to minus 2. Similarly here, for x it is x square by 2. For 2 it is 2x. And what are the limits? Minus 2 to 5. First substitute upper limit. What is the upper limit? Minus 2. So it is minus of minus 2 square 4. 4 by 2 is 2. Then substitute minus 2 here. So it will become minus 4. Minus, substitute lower limit, minus 5 square is 25, 25 by 2, minus 10. Plus, substitute here the same way, 25 by 2, plus 10. Substitute lower limit, minus of minus 2 square. Minus 2 square is 4, 4 by 2 is 2. Minus 2 is substitute here, it will become minus 4. With that, it will become plus 4. Open the bracket. Open the bracket, or even while opening the bracket only, 2 minus 4 is minus 2. Minus 2 minus 10 is minus 12. Minus 12 into minus is plus 12. Minus into minus plus 25 by 2. Here, 10 minus 2 is 8. 8 plus 4 is 12. So plus 12. Plus 25 by 2. 25 by 2 plus 25 by 2 is 25. plus 24 is 49. Once again, you just check, because while substituting, there can be a possibility of small mistake. Modulus of x plus 2, we divide it into two parts, minus 5 to minus 2. And in that case, it becomes negative, that is minus of x plus 2, and here it is positive. Let the negative be outside. Integral of x is x square by 2, integral of 2x is 2x. Similarly, here x square plus 2x, so no issue till there. While substituting limits, outside is minus 2 square is 4, 4 by 2 is 2, minus 2 into 2 is minus 4, minus lower limit, minus 5 square is 25, 25 by 2, minus 2 into plus 2, minus 5 into 2 is minus 10. Minus 10, yes, we did a mistake here. This is minus is fine. When we substitute here minus 10, minus of minus, it will become plus 10. Okay, yes. So if you simplify 10 plus 2, 12 minus 4 is 8. So this is not 12, but it is 8. And accordingly, the answer will change. So it is 12 plus 8, 20, plus 25. 20 plus 25, 45. Once again, you just check the whole thing. Minus 2 square is 4. 4 by 2 is 2. Minus 2 into 2x is minus 4. Minus, why minus? Because of lower limit. Minus 5 square is 25. 25 by 2. Minus 5 into 2 is minus 10. And because already there is a negative sign, it will become plus 10. 5 square by 2, 25 by 2. 2 into 5, 10. Then minus lower limit. Minus 2 square is 4. 4 by 2 is 2. Minus 2 into 2 is minus 4. But because of negative, it becomes positive. So 10 plus 2, 12 minus 4 is 8. Minus, yes, 10 plus 2, 12 minus 4 is 8. But because of this negative, it will be minus 8. Yes. And minus into minus plus. Here 10 minus 2, 8 plus 4 is 12. And 25 by 2. 25 by 2, 25 by 2, it will become 25. 25 plus 4 is 29. Like this, small errors are possible when there are lots of minus and plus signs. So whenever you do, make sure you once check so that the final answer will be correct. Okay? We'll move on to the next problem. Yes. Look at this problem. Very different than other problems, but very interesting. How? Use the property. What is the property we'll use? The same property which we discussed. What is the property we discussed? We discussed that 0 to a fx dx is equal to 0 to a f of a minus x dx. This is very, very useful property we are using once again here. So the given integral I can be written as 0 to 1 x into 1 minus x to the power n dx. Now use that property. If you use the property, 0 to 1 remains as it is. X will become 1 minus x. And in bracket, you will have 1 minus x dx. So what will happen when you open? 1 minus 1 will get cancelled, you will get x. So you have 0 to 1, 1 minus x, and these two will get cancelled, you will have, sorry, just one thing, the power is n. So 1 and 1 will get cancelled, you will get x to the power n dx, which can be opened up. How? This can be written as 0 to 1 x to the power n minus x to the power n plus 1 dx. Both can be integrated simultaneously. How you can integrate? This can be written as x to the power n plus 1 by n plus 1 minus x to the power n plus 2 by n plus 2. And remember the limits. The limits are 0 to 1. So substitute first upper limit 1. 1 to the power anything is 1. So you are left with 1 upon n plus 1 minus 1 upon n plus 2. And when you are going to substitute lower limit in place of x, it will become 0. So we don't need to worry about it. Only we have to simplify it. So simplify. This can be written as n plus 2 minus n minus 1 by n plus 1 into n plus 2. Simplify, you get the answer 1 upon n plus 1 n plus 2. This is the answer. So using properties makes our job very, very simple. Okay. Yes. This is also based upon same formula. What is the formula? 0 to a fx dx is equal to 0 to a f of a minus x dx. The given integral is I equal to 0 to 2 x under root of 2 minus x dx. So this can be written as 0 to 2 2 minus x under root of 2 minus 2 minus x. So what happens? 0 to 2 2 minus x, simplify, 2 and 2 will get cancelled, you will get root x. Multiply. So this will become 2 root x, 2 can be put outside, 0 to 2 root x dx minus x into root x will become x to the power 3 by 2 x to the power half integral is x to the power 3 by 2, 0 to 2 minus x to the power 5 by 2 by 5 by 2. So the 2 by 5 will come. Similarly here 2 by 3 will come. Limits are 0 to 2. Now substitute upper limit. Take 2 by 3 outside. So it will become 4 by 3 2 to the power 3 by 2. And when you substitute 0, that will vanish. Minus 2 by 5 can be put outside. And when you substitute, you will get 2 to the power 5 by 2. Club both of them. This can be written as 4 by 3 into 2 root 2 minus 2 square is 4, 4 2s are 8 by 5 root 2. What is common? You can take 4 root 2 common. If you take out 4 root 2 common, what is left? 2 by 3 minus 2 by 5. Okay, simplify. 10 minus 6 by 15. So you get 4. 4 into 4, 16 by 15 root 2. This will be the answer. So I am sure you are realizing it that by using properties, problems can be solved without much difficulty. Very, very simple, and many problems are solved by using that particular property. Okay, let us move further. Yes. Recollect, toward the end we studied properties. What was the property? Lower limit and upper limit only differ by negative sign. What is that property? The property was minus a to a fx dx is equal to 2 times 0 to a fx dx or equal to 0. This is what it is. So how it becomes like this? This becomes like this if f of minus x is equal to f of x. Okay? This happens if f of equal to fx, and if f of minus x is equal to minus of fx, it becomes 0. These are the two conditions. What is the function? The function is fx equal to sine square x. In place of x, write minus x. So what is f of minus x? It is sine minus x square. What is sine minus theta? Sine minus theta is minus sine theta. So it is minus sine x whole square. And what is it? It is nothing but sine square x. So what did you find? Fx is sine square x. F of minus x is also sine square x. Which case we will use, first one or second one? First one. What does it say? If f of minus x is equal to fx, this problem becomes 2 times of this. So use that property, and this problem can be now written as 2 times 0 to pi by 2 sine square x. How to integrate sine square x? Recollect the formula, cos 2 theta formula. What was the formula? Cos 2x is equal to 1 minus 2 sine square x. As a result, sine square x can be written as 1 minus cos 2x by 2. So use that formula here. So this can be written as 2, 0 to pi by 2. In place of sine square x, we will write 1 by 2 minus 1 by 2 cos 2x dx. Integrate now. If you integrate, 2 is outside, and then what is integral of 1 by 2? It is 1 by 2x minus 1 by 2. What is integral of cos 2x? Integral of cos x is sin x. For cos 2x, it is sin 2x by 2. The limits are 0 to pi by 2. First thing which we can do is we can just cancel this 2 and then substitute the upper limit. Substitute the upper limit, it will become pi by 2 minus 1 by 2 sin 2x. What is sin 2x? Sin 2 into pi by 2. So 2 and 2 will get cancelled. You will get sin pi minus, when you substitute 0, both will become 0. We don't need to worry. Only thing is, what is sin 180 degrees? What is sin 180 plus 0? Sin 0. So it is 0. So this whole thing will become 0 because sin pi equal to 0. So this will become 0 and the answer is going to be just pi by 2. This is how we solve the problems. Quite simple by using the properties. So let us move further. Yes. Very interesting again. Same property. What was the property? What is the property? Minus a to a fx dx is equal to 2 times 0 to a fx dx or equal to 0. So there are two answers. When do you get the first answer? When f of minus x is equal to f of x. When do you get second answer? If f of minus x is equal to minus of fx. two cases. What is the function here? Here, f of x is equal to sine to the power 7x. Substitute in place of x minus x. So what you will get, f of minus x equal to sine minus x to the power 7. Now recollect what is sine minus theta. Sine minus theta is minus sine theta. So you are getting minus sine 7x. In other terms, minus of fx. What happened? F of minus x is minus of fx. Second case, f of minus x equal to minus of fx. So if this happens, we can straight away say that the answer is 0. We don't need to do anything. Why? That is a property. Minus a to a fx dx is 0 if f of minus x is minus fx. So remember the properties. If you don't know for properties what is to be done, you have to do by long method, which we followed yesterday. Particularly this kind of problems will be too long. You have to write it as sine to the power 6x into sin x. Convert sine 6x in terms of cos. Take cos x as t, sin x dx will become dt, and it will be a very, very big problem. Whereas if you know formula, directly you can write answer 0. Yes, take up this problem. This is also based upon same formula. You can see the terms, by that you can easily guess. So, how to proceed? Sorry, this problem is based upon this formula. What is it? 0 to a fx dx equal to 0 to a f of a minus x dx. So use that formula here. So I is equal to 0 to pi by 2 sin x minus cos x upon 1 plus sin x into cos x. This is our problem which he has given. Why did we write again? So that we can write it as integral. Now use that property. So if you use that property, this can be written as 0 to pi by 2 sine pi by 2 minus x minus cos pi by 2 minus x upon 1 plus sine pi by 2 minus x into cos pi by 2 minus x. And use the formula. What is the formula you have to use? Sin 90 minus theta, cos 90 minus theta, sin theta. So the problem will get reduced to, this will become cos x minus sin x upon 1 plus cos x into sin x. This is I and this is also I. Observe both of them. Do you find any difference in denominator? No. It is just sin x into cos x. This is cos x into sin x. 2 into 3, 3 into 2, both are same. So there is no change in denominator. What is the change then? Here it is sin x minus cos x. Here it is cos x minus sin x. Club both of them. If you add both of them, what you will get? Sin x minus cos x plus cos x minus sin x. So minus cos x plus cos x will get cancelled. Sin x and minus sin x will get cancelled. You are left with 0 in numerator. So this will become 0 to pi by 2, 0 upon 1 plus cos x sin x. And we know that 0 upon anything is 0. We don't need to do anything. So the answer is 0. So it is as simple as that. by using the properties. So please learn these few properties, at least the ones which are very frequently coming, so that your job will become very easy. Yes. In fact, this problem is also based upon same property. What is the property? Please keep writing so that you will learn it. The property is 0 to a. The moment you find 0 to a, you should immediately recollect that property. That is fx dx is equal to 0 to a f of a minus x dx. This is the property. Use it. How do you use it? Whatever integral he has given, we will call it I. 0 to a root x upon root x plus under root of a minus x dx. Now use that property. So it can be written as 0 to a. In place of x will come under root of a minus x. In place of x will come under root of a minus x. In place of under root of a minus x will come a minus x dx. Simplify one step. 0 to a under root of a minus x upon under root of a minus x. This, if you open, it will become root x. This also you call it I. Observe this I and this I. What is the difference? As far as denominator is concerned, there is no difference. Why? This is root x plus root a minus x. This is root a minus x plus root x. 2 plus 3, 3 plus 2. Both are same. So denominators are no different. Now, if you add both of them, numerators will get added. So what is that you will get? You will get 2i equal to 0 to a root x plus root of a minus x upon root x plus root of a minus x dx. You can see that both numerator and denominator are same. So you can simply cancel. So what is the integral of dx? Integral of dx is x. So you get x. The limits are 0 to a. Remember, this is the value of 2i. Our objective is to find out I. So we will say, hence, I is equal to, here we will get a, so it will get a by 2. 2i is equal to a, so I is equal to a by 2. That is the answer. Yes. Almost we are coming to the last part. Just one or two more problems. Let us look at this problem. Show that 0 to a fx dx equal to that if f and g are defined as follows. Again, use the same property. What is the property you are going to use? You are going to use the property 0 to a fx dx equal to 0 to a f of a minus x dx. Same property, use it here. Why we are using it? Because the limits are 0 to a. So I is equal to 0 to a fx gx dx. This is what he has given. Now use the property. So if you use the property, this can be written as 0 to a fx can be written as f of a minus x into g of a minus x dx. Let us move 0 to a f of a minus x. What is that he has given? He says f of a minus x and fx both are same. If both are same, you can replace it with 0 to a fx. Okay. Now, he says g of x plus g of a minus x is 4. We have g of a minus x. So, what will be its value? Its value will be 4 minus gx. Okay. The value of g of a minus x. G of a minus x is 4 minus g of x. Open the bracket. It will become 0 to a 4 into fx, 4 into fx minus 0 to a fx into gx dx. What is this 0 to a fx gx? It is the same integral with which we started. So this can be replaced by I. This whole thing is nothing but I. And what is it? Minus I. Get that minus I this side. You will get 2I equal to 4 times 0 to a fx dx. Cancel 2. And that's what we want to prove. What is that we want to prove? I is equal to 2 times 0 to a fx dx. We didn't do anything, just we applied formula and made substitutions as per what he has given. We have proved it. Okay. Last, toward the end. Look at the problem. See, the moment you look at the problem, it should immediately strike 0 to pi by 2, 0 to pi by 2, 0 to a, 0 to 2, 0 to 3, same property. What is the property? So this is the property you have seen that very frequently we have used in problems. So let us use the same property. The given integral is 0 to pi by 2 log 4 plus 3 sin x upon 4 plus 3 cos x dx. If we use the property, I think now since we have used the property several times, we can skip some steps. What I mean is, now when you use the property, what is that you are going to get? 4 plus 3 sin pi by 2 minus x upon 4 plus 3 cos pi by 2 minus x. Sin 90 minus theta will become cos theta. Cos 90 minus theta will become sin theta. So this will become 0 to pi by 2 log 4 plus 3 cos x upon 4 plus 3 sin x. Remember, this is also I. Now add both of them. If you add both of them, what you will get? I plus I will become 2I, 0 to pi by 2, log of this plus log of this. What is the formula you learnt? Log m plus log n equal to log mn. So when you add this with this, both will get multiplied. So we can say I plus I 2I equal to 0 to pi by 2 log, first write that 4 plus 3 sin x upon 4 plus 3 cos x into, because it will become mn, this one, 4 plus 3 cos x upon 4 plus 3 sin x. dx. Look at the bracket. All terms gets cancelled. 4 plus 3x, 4 plus 3x, 3 sin x, 4 plus 3 cos x, 4 plus 3 cos x, cancel. Everything gets cancelled, you are left with 1 equal to 0 to pi by 2 log 1. What is log 1? Is 0. So as a result, 2i equal to 0, hence I equal to 0. So in this way, by using properties, we can solve the problems without much difficulty. It requires little bit of practice. So which problems to be practiced? In fact, in every exercise, I've been doing half the problems. I generally choose odd numbers and do. So all the even numbers are for you to do as assignment. Apart from that, you should not miss doing solid examples. The moment you do solid examples and the rest of the problems which you have not done, that will give you good amount of practice and you will really master this integration. So with this problem, we come to a close of a big chapter which we have done over 11 sessions called integration, in which we had indefinite integrals, we had definite integrals. In the future classes, we will be seeing how this integral is helpful to us in calculating areas as well as solving differential equations. We have two different chapters. First, we will take up application of integrals in calculating areas, and then we will take up the other part. Thank you. Sai Ram.